Well, Deb and Kelly, no, actually, police have just lifted that. In fact, they did this earlier for the public safety. Police briefly asked people to stay in their homes as officers used a canine to search the area for that suspect, but they say they did not find anything and they do believe the person drove off. Now, here's what we know this afternoon. People heard gunshots at Southwest Greenburg and 95th just before noon today. Police found the man and the woman dead at the scene. Police say they don't know if the victims knew each other or if they lived at the complex. Officers also would not say if the shooting happened inside or outside the building. Tigard police did say that they have not had any problems with this property in the past.
Situations like this don't happen very often here in this area. So as far as I know, certainly nothing like this here, but I don't know about other calls.
Police are still on the scene. You can see the crime tape still up now. They did have one lane of Greenburg closed for a while, but that has since reopened. Again, police are still searching for a suspect. They could not provide us with a description of this person, but we will bring you any updates as soon as we learn them.
Well, Deb, they are doing better today, but they still have a long way to go. They are home from the hospital, but their injuries are extensive. They were attacked just a little further down this path yesterday, and we're told by the brothers that they will be physically okay, but mentally, they're not so sure. The brothers say they don't know the people who attacked them, but they say they first saw the group earlier in the day when they had yelled some homophobic things at the brothers. David Van Horn, who I spoke to, says he didn't think much about it until the group showed up about 2 hours later after the first time they came in contact with them. That's when this video was recorded. David has seen the video of the attack. He says it's hard to watch, but knowing those responsible are still on the loose is even more difficult for him.
They need to be off the streets. They're dangerous. They had no problem grabbing weapons and just going at it, hitting us with logs. And I don't want next time to be someone dead instead of just in the air.
Deputies say both brothers were punched, kicked, and stomped, and one suspect used a large stick in the attack. The two brothers suffered concussions. David tells me he has several staples in his head, while his brother Keith has stitches in his chin and other injuries all over his body. Now, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is investigating this assault, and they say it's possible that this could be a biased crime because of some of the homophobic slurs that were yelled at the brothers before this attack. Coming up tonight on Katu News at 11, I'll have more from the brothers as well as their warning to others.
Steve, a sergeant in the personnel division, says Portland's geographic location in the Pacific Northwest continues to be one of its biggest draws. However, the police bureau and the city are ramping up advertising efforts to recruit officers.
The past 18 months have marked a mass exodus from the Portland Police Bureau. Over that time, more than 140 officers have retired or quit. Only a small fraction of that number has been hired. That includes 6 people just last week. The Police Bureau is currently rebuilding its hiring division. Pandemic-related cuts decimated it. The Bureau is close to hiring more people who will do background checks and process the applications. Sergeant Trevor Tyler says getting ads on social media and other places will draw even more applicants.
We haven't been out there putting ourselves in social media spaces or on in any kind of platform to say, hey, the Portland Police are hiring, come and work for us. So without any form of advertising, we've still generated over 500 applicants. So the hope is that now, once we are starting to get this machine moving again, we're going to get a whole lot more.
Tyler says usually about 10% of applicants make it through the application process. That's about 50 people in this case. One hang-up in hiring is the state-run police training academy. There are no openings in basic police academies until May. Portland has 10 officers going to the training academy through next April, according to the State Department of Public Safety Standards and Training.
Sergeant Tyler says it will be a couple months before those background investigators are up to speed and working at full capacity. They are also going to offer hiring bonuses to police officer candidates. That was approved in the recent fall budget adjustments. However, the city is still negotiating with the police union on how it will do so. Time after the first of the year, but there's not a hard date. It will address some of these long wait times we've highlighted for a lot of 911 callers. Given how bad those wait times are right now, we wanted to know why not start it sooner.
Portland dispatchers take anywhere from 80,000 to 100,000 calls every month. Many are for non-emergencies. The 911 director says that means people in true emergencies are forced to wait for a dispatcher. Catherine Groves waited for one several minutes after she was robbed at gunpoint in October.
It's absolutely scary. Why, I'm sitting there shaking. By the time 2 or 3 minutes had passed, my body starts going into full-on shake.
The 911 director, Bob Kazi, wants less of that. He and his boss, Commissioner Mingus Mapps, agree it's unacceptable. However, despite the workload at the 911 center, the public education campaign won't start until sometime after the new year.
Given the pressure point within BOEC, though, do you think that public awareness campaign should start sooner?
I'd love for it to start sooner. I just want to make sure that the message is consistent and that we're not undermining our community's confidence in the non-emergency processing at the same time.
The main focus of the campaign will be when to call 911 and when to call 311. That's the new county-wide line for many non-emergency calls. The 311 center is hiring call takers to expand its hours of service. At a time when seconds matter, Mapps tells me Portland's 911 center should focus on true emergencies.
If you're like me, you might wonder when are times that people are calling 911 and they shouldn't, so I asked and got the answer. Here's just a few. First, if you see a suspicious vehicle that is unoccupied. Next, people who are just tired of waiting on that non-emergency line. Also, feedback or complaints involving protests. Here's a few more. Noise disturbances, power outages, and questions about when police officers will arrive. We've got more examples on K2.com.